Prince Louis's bodyguard fired after 6 years. What he did next went viral overnight. Each of us plays a vital role in life, whether in the spotlight or the shadows. And sometimes those working behind the scenes of major events are the ones who make the greatest impact. They are the individuals we rarely see but are indispensable in maintaining order and safety. In the royal family, royal protection officers or bodyguards are not merely protectors, they are silent warriors tasked with upholding unwavering loyalty and responsibility. Trained to be invisible yet irreplaceable, they are the backbone of the monarchy's security. Today, the story of Callum Ray Bennett, one of Prince Louis's most trusted royal bodyguards, who ensured the young prince's safety for 6 years, is captivating public attention. Abruptly relieved of his duties, this decision has raised numerous questions, not only about personal reasons but also about the hidden dynamics of a world we rarely glimpse. A larger question looms: why was such a reliable protector dismissed under such questionable circumstances? What makes this story even more compelling is Callum's next steps. His actions have transcended the royal circle, garnering global attention, not because of fame, but due to the profound impact he made in his role as a silent protector with remarkable influence. This raises a critical question. What did Callum do to inspire millions worldwide? What happened to him may reflect deeper truths about trust and loyalty within the royal household. Join us as we unravel this surprising tale of duty, sacrifice, and heroism in the shadows. A story that may reshape how we view the roles of those who stand behind the royal spotlight. At 34, Callum Ray Bennett entered the life of a royal bodyguard through a journey few could imagine. Before joining the Royal Protection Unit, Callum had a distinguished career in the Royal Marines, where he served for 11 years. Through grueling training, dangerous missions, and countless situations demanding courage and resilience, Callum proved himself not only a skilled warrior, but also someone capable of facing any challenge in his work. What set Callum apart from others was his prioritization of order, structure, and purpose over titles. He always placed integrity and the mission of protection above all else. This mindset led him to the Royal Protection Unit, a role demanding a serious work ethic and unwavering commitment to safeguarding others. Callum didn't join for recognition. He understood that the post required sacrifice and absolute loyalty, and he was ready to give his all. Callum's first assignment in the Royal Protection Unit was far from simple. He rotated between protecting various royal family members, from distant relatives to high-ranking officials. However, one of the most significant assignments of his career came when he was chosen to protect Prince Louis, then just 2 years old. This role was uniquely challenging, requiring patience, a high sense of responsibility, and an exceptional ability to maintain control without drawing attention. Kensington Palace sought a discreet, reliable, and capable bodyguard to work with an energetic child like Prince Louis. After reviewing numerous candidates, Callum was selected, thanks to his extensive military background and calm, meticulous demeanor. The palace needed someone who could ensure Louis's safety while earning the complete trust of the royal family. Callum was the perfect fit, and his career at the palace embarked on a new chapter filled with challenges and responsibilities. From the start of his assignment, Callum quickly built a close bond with Prince Louis. An energetic and spirited child, Louis wasn't easily won over by a new bodyguard, but Callum established trust and ease in protecting the young prince. The early steps of their relationship laid the foundation for future protection methods while also beginning a story of friendship and respect between a silent protector and a young prince destined to become a key figure in the royal family. The relationship between Callum Ray Bennett and Prince Louis wasn't always smooth. When Callum was first assigned to protect Louis, the task was far from easy. Louis, with his bold, lively, and sometimes stubborn personality, didn't readily accept a new bodyguard's presence. He disliked wearing hats, felt annoyed at holding his bodyguard's hand, and strongly resisted being told what to do. These traits posed a significant challenge for Callum, despite his extensive military experience. Instead of employing strict protection methods, Callum chose a different, more respectful approach toward Louis. Unlike other bodyguards, Callum didn't impose rigid rules on Louis from the outset. Instead, he maintained a respectful distance, staying present without being intrusive. He avoided forcing Louis to comply, opting instead to let the boy approach him voluntarily. Callum knew that building trust with a child like Lewis required more than commands or strict demands. It demanded time, patience, and sensitivity. Over the first 3 weeks, Callum gradually made Lewis feel more comfortable with his presence, fostering a reliable bond. A pivotal moment in their relationship occurred at a children's charity event. Amid the lively atmosphere, Louis unexpectedly turned to Callum and said something no one anticipated. "You're not as boring as the others." Kate Middleton, standing nearby, burst into laughter at Lewis's remark. The comment not only relieved Callum, but also signaled that Louis was beginning to warm to him. It was the first clear sign that Lewis not only accepted Callum's presence, but genuinely appreciated his unique approach compared to other bodyguards. From that moment, their relationship took a positive turn. Following this breakthrough, Lewis began seeking Callum out more often. He stopped referring to him as bodyguard or protector, instead calling him Cal, a warm and familiar nickname. These moments reflected not only trust, but also Lewis's growing view of Callum as a reliable friend. Lewis started mimicking Callum's walk, showing greater interest and closeness. In crowded settings, when feeling disoriented or pressured, Lewis began turning to Callum as a steadfast anchor. Callum wasn't just Lewis's protector. He was a friend and companion, always ready to listen and share. Callum's role in Prince Lewis's life grew increasingly vital. He was present not only at major events like Easter services or official palace functions, but also during everyday moments, such as school drop-offs and pickups. Callum became an indispensable part of Lewis's life. Beyond being a bodyguard, he was a psychological protector, a friend who could read Lewis's moods through the smallest gestures. Callum could sense when Lewis felt anxious or upset and had a gentle way of calming those emotions, helping Lewis regain composure. He also shared inside jokes, creating a relaxed atmosphere whenever Lewis needed a moment of ease. With his ability to read Lewis's moods and his deep understanding of the young prince's needs, Callum proved he was more than a protector. He was a true friend. The moments they shared, whether brief conversations or simple gestures, meant the world to Lewis and demonstrated that Callum was no ordinary bodyguard, but a trusted companion, always ready to protect and support Lewis in any situation. In Callum's 5th year with the Royal Protection Unit, a significant policy change was introduced. The new policy mandated more frequent rotation of bodyguards assigned to royal family members to prevent excessive emotional attachment to specific individuals. This measure, proposed by the Royal Protection Unit and security experts, aimed to ensure absolute safety. However, Callum strongly opposed this policy. He believed that trust and attachment to the protected individual were essential for ensuring Prince Lewis's safety. In his view, a bodyguard who couldn't build trust with the child they protected couldn't perform their duties effectively. Callum didn't hesitate to voice his concerns to his superiors at the Royal Protection Unit. He firmly argued that the policy change could directly impact Prince Lewis's safety. Frequent rotations would diminish a bodyguard's ability to understand Lewis's habits, needs, and reactions in emergencies. Though a disciplined man who respected authority, Callum was resolute in this matter, showing determination to protect Lewis. Meetings at the Royal Protection Unit grew increasingly tense as Callum expressed growing concerns about the change, staunchly defending his stance. However, shortly after these debates escalated, an incident shifted the trajectory. In May, during a community event at a rural school, Callum noticed a suspicious man standing near Prince Lewis's area, holding a clipboard and acting unusually. Without hesitation, Callum reacted swiftly and decisively, neutralizing the potential threat immediately. However, his action without awaiting a stop order from superiors led to a tense situation. Though Callum's quick response was acknowledged as correct, he faced criticism for not adhering to proper protocols and coordination with colleagues and commanders in the emergency. Despite having valid reasons for his actions, Callum endured relentless scrutiny. He refused to apologize, asserting that his duty was to protect Prince Louis, not to polish anyone's image within the system. 3 weeks after the incident, Callum was informed that his assignment would be paused. Though no public statement was made, it was said he was reassigned due to restructuring. To those in the know, this was clearly a veiled dismissal, a move no one in the royal family desired. Callum was no longer protecting Louis, leaving everyone bewildered. Prince Louis, in particular, couldn't understand why Callum was no longer by his side. When told that Callum was working elsewhere, Lewis couldn't hide his disappointment and confusion. Having bonded with Callum over the years, he saw him as a trusted friend. This event was not only a shock to Callum, but also raised questions about the Royal Protection Unit's management and operations. The policy change and the opaque decision regarding Callum's role seemed to reflect growing tensions within the Royal Protection System, where trust, emotion, and loyalty were sometimes subordinated to administrative protocols that failed to value the importance of the bond between bodyguard and protectee. Ultimately, Callum's dismissal sparked mixed reactions and left many questioning the future of royal bodyguards. After years in a tightly structured system, Callum Ray Bennett embarked on a new chapter. He moved to a small town in Dorset, where life was peaceful and quiet, a stark contrast to the fast-paced capital. With no family, no royal protection duties, and a life free from scrutiny, the transition was challenging for Callum. After decades in a disciplined structure, living freely in a quiet town left him feeling adrift. The empty streets and serene spaces made him feel caught between two chapters of his life, one filled with pressure and intensity, the other an almost suffocating calm. Callum's daily routine retained some of the discipline honed during his royal service. He woke at dawn each morning, starting the day with a 5-mile run to stay fit. Afterward, he brewed a cup of tea, sipped it slowly, and sat in silence, confronting himself and his new life. But despite these habits, Callum felt empty, as if he lacked a clear purpose. He couldn't shake the sense of being stuck between chapters, between a past filled with royal duties and a present void of direction. Without the responsibility of protecting someone or facing emergencies, everything felt too still. However, Callum's life began to shift one summer day when he heard a scream from the nearby community center. The cry came from a boy named Jamie who was running into the street without looking. With his protective instincts kicking in, Callum rushed out to stop the boy. When the situation calmed, he realized Jamie was just a child craving attention and care. Reflecting on how Jamie lacked stability, Callum saw that children like him needed more than material help. They needed grounding in a changing society. After the incident, Callum met Jamie's mother, Emma, a young woman whose unassuming exterior belied her resilience. Emma knew nothing of Callum's royal past, but when she saw he acted out of genuine intent, she agreed to let him help her family. Emma and Callum quickly connected, and despite initial hesitation, Callum saw this as a chance to rediscover purpose. During sleepless nights, reflecting on children like Jamie, Callum realized they needed more than material aid. They needed stability and someone to understand their emotions, much like his experience protecting Prince Louis. He felt he could offer that stability to children lacking love and care. Determined to step into a new role, Callum began working to support children who deserved love and stability. Life in Dorset, with all its changes and quiet, now offered Callum a new purpose. It wasn't royal protection, but it was about building a peaceful, meaningful life by sharing the love and care he had learned during his years as a royal bodyguard. When Callum settled in Dorset, he didn't just seek relaxation. He aimed to make a difference for children in need. He volunteered at the local community center, starting with light but meaningful work. Each day, Callum engaged in activities like playing soccer with kids, helping with homework, or simply providing stability for children facing hardships. Though the work didn't demand attention or glory, Callum felt himself becoming part of the community. His calm, composed demeanor put the children at ease, making them feel safe in his presence. Gradually, the number of kids participating in the center's activities tripled. The presence of a former royal bodyguard, though no longer official, inspired the children and amazed parents and teachers with Callum's genuine, reliable support. But the story didn't end with soccer games or homework help. One day, a significant incident occurred involving Jamie, a 10-year-old facing bullying from a group of kids at school. Struggling academically and behaviorally, Jamie also lacked family support. Callum noticed Jamie's absence from the center one afternoon and intervened promptly. He convinced the school that rather than punishing Jamie, they should guide and support him, as he needed care and direction. Though Callum's intervention resolved the situation, Jamie's story and Callum's involvement with the children quickly became a topic on education forums. A social media post detailing Callum's volunteer work gained significant traction. The post went viral with photos of Callum and Jamie under headlines like, "From Prince to Troubled Youth." The story of a former royal bodyguard helping struggling kids captured media attention. Though initially just a way to help the community, Callum now faced unwanted media scrutiny. His supportive presence sparked curiosity about his royal past and his impact on the children's lives. Uncomfortable with the attention, Callum repeatedly stated, "This isn't about me." He didn't want his story to become the media's focus, but couldn't control its spread. Charities began contacting him to learn more about his work and explore collaboration. While Callum never sought attention, the story's virality offered new opportunities to continue his community work. However, he remained firm that his goal was to help children, not to become a public figure. Ultimately, while the attention brought opportunities, it also challenged Callum, who was still balancing doing good with protecting his privacy. With each step, Callum understood that not every good deed could avoid scrutiny, but he remained committed to working for the benefit of children in need, not for fame or recognition. Callum Ray Bennett's life, after leaving the Royal Protection Unit, wasn't an end, but a meaningful new beginning. Still, his dismissal continued to resonate, especially within the palace, where matters are typically kept hushed. The event sparked tense discussions, though no one spoke publicly. Questions lingered in private meetings. Was dismissing Callum truly the right call? Whispers of a hasty decision persisted, and some palace members began to realize they may have erred in rushing the decision. But regardless of the palace's response, Callum forged ahead outside the spotlight. His connection with Prince Louis remained unbroken, evidenced by a first letter Callum received from Louis. Unsigned but clearly from a royal, the simple yet emotional note read, "Some duties never end. You never stop serving." Though brief, the handwritten message conveyed deep gratitude and acknowledgement that their bond and loyalty endured despite changed circumstances. Through his words, Louis expressed quiet respect and appreciation for the bodyguard who had stood by him throughout his early years. Over time, Callum expanded his work. He not only continued supporting children at the community center, but also began training volunteers for protection groups in 3 other towns. His story gained wider recognition, not for his prominence, but for what he did for the community. Despite offers from major organizations, including opportunities for special national assignments, Callum declined. He didn't want to leave the grassroots work where he could make a tangible difference. Volunteering wasn't about standing out. It was a mission to serve, and Callum understood this deeply. Sometime later, Callum received a second letter from Louis, this time accompanied by a drawing. In the picture, Louis depicted a bodyguard and a prince, with a simple yet heartfelt caption, "Still my favorite bodyguard." For Callum, this was more than a cherished gift. It was affirmation that the trust they had built over the years remained strong. Though devoid of grandiose words, Louis's drawing conveyed all the gratitude, admiration, and respect he held for Callum. Callum's journey didn't end with being a bodyguard. It became an inspiration to many. Loyalty, sacrifice, and protection weren't just critical to his work. They were steadfast values he carried forward. Callum's teachings now inspired others to follow suit. He was not just a protector, but a symbol of dedication and loyalty. While the media might highlight grand stories, Callum knew that sometimes quiet persistence creates the most lasting impact. Ultimately, Callum's story isn't just about a royal bodyguard. It's about a man of unwavering loyalty, ready to sacrifice for others without seeking attention. His legacy isn't a title or a celebrated feat, but the quiet yet powerful way he protected and cared for those he cherished. In every small action, Callum proved that trust and protection are timeless values, immeasurable by any standard or fame. Throughout his journey, Callum Ray Bennett demonstrated that true loyalty and protection aren't merely assigned duties or responsibilities. From a royal bodyguard, he became a community hero, not only protecting, but also exemplifying sacrifice, dedication, and genuine care. Callum didn't just perform his role diligently, he offered those around him true protection, not measured by palace walls, but by connection, trust, and understanding those he served. Callum's legacy isn't just his actions, but the Bennett method he created, a philosophy built on structure and trust. The children he helped, the families he supported, all testify to the importance of fostering lasting, sincere, and resilient relationships. Prince Louis's letter is the clearest proof of the legacy Callum left behind. Not just a bodyguard, but a friend and devoted protector. Yet questions remain. Did the palace misjudge Callum? What can we learn from his approach? Could Callum's method reshape how we support struggling youth in today's society? And most importantly, what does true loyalty mean when duty is redefined? Behind the royal gates, the story of a man like Callum reminds us that sometimes the greatest protectors are those who never stop caring for those they safeguard. He didn't just protect Prince Louis, he protected the very human values we often overlook: connection, trust, and sincere protection. If you find Callum's story meaningful, don't hesitate to comment on the palace's actions, share your thoughts, and subscribe to follow more captivating royal stories.